Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Triple S's Illumination podcast. I have Jess Sorensen of EnvirOx as our guest today. EnvirOx is a maker of a residue-free cleaning technology that uses a proprietary hydrogen peroxide-based formula and has been a great partner to Triple S. They've been very focused on helping our members and their customers achieve better outcomes. But before we get into that, Jeff, welcome to the program. Would you mind just introducing your company a little bit for those that might not be familiar with EnvirOx?
Hey, thanks, Matt. Really appreciate being here today. EnvirOx is a second-generation family-owned business, and our president and owner is Diana Stewart. And as a certified woman-owned business, Diana has created a team to take her father's invention, H2 Orange 2, to more and more end-using customers. Our technology is effective, it's safe for people and surfaces, and it allows us to clean 95% of the surfaces in a building with one product at 2 dilutions through a dispensing platform. And our products are available through Triple S members, and we're proud to say our flagship product, H2 Orange 2, is available as a Triple S co-label. The secret to our products is our proprietary formula blended with hydrogen peroxide, cold press orange oil, and a proprietary surfactant package. And as you mentioned, we clean without leaving sticky residue behind that can attract dirt.
Yeah, what a setup. Sticky surfaces, and particularly floors. So, and I mentioned earlier that EnvirOx has been helping Triple S members and their customers provide better outcomes. And Jeff, recently you wrote an article for Flooring Contractor magazine, which is called New Technology Flooring Needs New Technology Cleaning. And the magazine article focused on the growing use of luxury vinyl flooring, or LVT. So talk to us a bit about LVT.
Well, LVT is one of the fastest growing floor types being used in commercial buildings. A recent industry study, now when I say industry, it's like the flooring industry,
okay,
but they indicate that LVT is about 30% of the new flooring installations, and it's growing rapidly. So luxury vinyl flooring is just that. It's flooring made of vinyl, but it's designed to have the appearance of wood, stone, or other, really eye-appealing surfaces.
Okay.
And this is really being driven by architects. And the architects who are designing buildings, either like a building remodel or new construction, they're being asked by their clients to provide more of like a warm, home-like appearance and feel. And because that's what the people that are using these buildings are looking for. So the architects' customers, who are building owners, are really moving away from, what we'll call the traditional institutional look of those 12 by 12 square foot tiles that a lot of us in this industry have grown up in.
Sure.
The other thing is that the architects and building owners like the warranty that they receive on the floor from the LVT manufacturers. And then the other thing the LVT manufacturers talk about is the total cost of ownership over the lifetime of the floor. So they promote the fact that these are low maintenance floors, and by low maintenance, they don't need floor finish. And, for those of us that, have been around, we realize that applying floor finish and maintaining floor finish is very, very labor intensive. LVT floors are designed not to need floor finish. Therefore, they talk about the lower cost of ownership over the lifetime of the floor. So it's interesting. You can go on the websites for a variety of these manufacturers and just see the value proposition and how they position luxury vinyl flooring, and more importantly, how they talk about the total cost of ownership. And, there's all kinds of companies that are in this space, and they're people that we're pretty familiar with, like Mannington, Armstrong, Shaw, Mohawk, and then there's Forbo, Tarkett, and there's a whole host of others. But what people can do if they want to learn more is just go to Google and Google LVT manufacturers, and then you can study to your heart's delight to learn more about these different types of floors and how they're positioned for buildings. So here's the key point of our conversation today. The flooring manufacturers that sell the floor promote that their LVT floors need less maintenance. But this doesn't mean no maintenance. And that becomes part of the confusion, is that the manufacturers of the flooring are saying low maintenance, and sometimes people are hearing no maintenance. So that's why the term new technology floors, new technology cleaning makes total sense for this space.
So, like you mentioned, the wood look seems to be the most popular choice as architects are kind of going through, giving buildings more of that home-like appearance. We've heard some end users kind of refer to this as man-made wood, since it looks like wood but is vinyl.
Yeah, you know what? For most of us that are familiar with LVT, like for home use, that's predominantly what you'll see like at the building supply stores, right? And you'll see LVT available in planks, in squares, and in sheet goods. But the LVT floors that look like wood mat, you're right, that seems to be the most popular. And to make it look like wood, there's grooves or ridges in the floor that actually give the floor that wood-like appearance. And these grooves are called ticking by the flooring industry. And they're designed to give the floor the wood-like appearance, and they're 3D in nature. And the ticking is also designed to contribute to the coefficient of friction to help make the floor safer.
So with that, many of our members indicate that of the customers that they have with LVT, a lot of the grooves and ridges that you just talked about can kind of get dirty and turn almost black over time. So what causes that?
Well, a variety of things, but one of the culprits is residue. Remember, we talked about that a little bit earlier. So most neutral cleaners are, from a chemistry standpoint, they're soap-based. And the soap will leave a chemical residue on the floor that then gets trapped in that ticking or gets trapped in the grooves. So the chemical residue is tacky or sticky, and it grabs on the dirt. I mean, it literally, you've got this tacky surface sitting in the ticking or in the groove, and it's grabbing the dirt off the bottom of people's shoes. And then what happens is over time, the chemical residue continues to build up in the ticking. It grabs onto the dirt, and it's just this compounding thing. And that's where the floors start to get this look that's either a darker or even a dirty look of the floor. And it's because the ticking is full of residue and dirt.
So it's my understanding that some quat-based cleaners can also accelerate this problem on LVT. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the way that quats are actually designed from a chemistry standpoint, they're designed to leave residue behind. And, all of us have had the experience of, I'll use the analogy of a restaurant, going into a restaurant and feeling the table and it feels tacky. That's because somebody recently cleaned that improperly, I might mention, with a quat, but they're leaving residue behind. And then the other culprit that can come into place is just improper use of mops and mopping techniques. And, if we run into a situation where somebody's mopping with a traditional cotton string mop and a single bucket system like the yellow bucket you've seen since the beginning of time, that can actually add to the buildup as well. So, you might be wondering, how do mopping systems come into play with residue buildup? There's a couple things to think about, and I realize we're not here to talk about mopping, but a single yellow mop bucket, it holds a cleaning solution. So you start off with clean solution, you drop the mop into the solution, and you start mopping the floor. When the mop is full, you immerse it back into this bucket, and you're actually rinsing the dirt from the floor back into the clean mopping solution, and you're re-wetting the mop, if you will, and off you go. And we all have seen it, right? If somebody continues to mop the floor with a mop, a string mop, using, I'll call it, dirty mop water, they're really not doing the job. They're kind of spreading dirt and leaving residue behind.
Right.
So that's
Yeah.
where proper mopping comes into play. Now, I've been in this industry my entire life, and I'm very proud of it. But, the other part of it is that as an industry, we've kind of taught professional cleaners that shiny is clean. And that's really not true. So if you think about it, right, think about the person who was taught that shiny is clean, and they have a string mop in a bucket, and they start at one end of the room, and they mop the entire room. And they turn around and look back, and they go, you know what, I did my job. The floor's shiny, I cleaned it. Well, the reality is the mopping system is only designed to clean a certain square footage. And most people will say, based on soil loads, that maybe a 6 by 10 area, which is 60 square feet, might be effective. And if somebody's mopping an entire surface, the way I just described, they're really kind of pushing dirt around. And again, they're leaving the floor shiny, but it's the water on the floor. They're not clean. So when I do training, the best analogy I've come up with is a paint roller to describe this mopping. So if you think about a paint roller to paint a wall, we get the roller full of paint, and we start to paint the wall. And the paint transfers from the roller to the wall, and we get to a certain point, and the paint roller no longer has paint on it. It's dry. So what do we need to do? We go back to the paint pan, and we recharge the roller, and we go back and we continue to roll the paint on the wall. Well, proper mopping techniques work much the same way. The mop can only hold or can only clean so many square feet, just like the paint roller can only apply paint to a certain part of the wall. So it's really a combination of the right product, the right process, the right tools in order to get the job done and get it done completely.
Yeah, that's a great point. And we can definitely go into mopping systems and things like that on maybe another podcast. But that's all good things to keep in mind. So for our members listening, you might have a customer that's using an LVT floor. So during your next visit, it might be worth it to just take a moment when you're on the site, look at the condition of the floor, check out those ticking or the grooves that Jeff was talking about, and see if they're dark or black. And then chances are, if that's the case, there's that residue on the floor. If you have BSC customers, you can ask them if they see this problem in the building that they clean. And then Jeff, so if a member is in there, they see this problem, how do they then approach the customer with this problem?
Well, that's where we've created a couple of things that can help. So, later on, we'll give folks the opportunity to reach out to get some additional information. But we've created a real simple sell sheet that can be used with a customer that kind of helps explain the situation, and it uses pictures, and then it allows you to kind of propose a solution to the customer. So essentially, the solution is to rapidly remove the residue from the floor. We call it a deep clean or floor restoration. Okay. So the LVT floor will need to be deep cleaned to remove the residue. And when that happens, the original floor color will appear. And the deep clean is done with the EnvirOx H2 Orange 2 Heavy Duty Red in a piece of mechanical equipment. So we've created instructions, and we'll make those available through SSS, but we've created instructions that explain how to do this deep cleaning with H2 Orange 2 Heavy Duty Red, along with a bunch of different equipment options, whether it be an automatic scrubber, a swing machine, a cylindrical machine, an orbital machine, or just a good old-fashioned manual deck brush.
So Jeff, is there any way to demonstrate this residue buildup to the end-use customer?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, a lot of people listening to this are going to kind of chuckle as I go through this example, because a lot of you have done this demo before in restrooms. So in terms of explaining to a customer, the sell sheet that we're providing has pictures that help tell the story, right? Pictures worth 1,000 words. But in a lot of situations, right, doing a live demo for a customer is very, very impactful. So here's how you can do a quick little demo on the customer's floor. You'll need a bottle of H2 Orange 2 Heavy Duty Red. You'll need a soft bristle brush, like a little hand scrub brush, and a white microfiber cloth. And then what you want to do is you want to spray the H2 Orange 2 Heavy Duty Red on the LVT floor. Just spray on the floor and let it dwell. And you only need to do a small area, right? You're doing a demo. So, maybe 1 square foot or so. Let the H2 Orange 2 dwell. Let the product do the work. Let the cold press orange oil penetrate the soil. Let it get into the ticking. Let the hydrogen peroxide do its thing. And then after it dwells for a little bit, couple minutes, take the little nylon deck brush or little nylon hand brush and brush the floor in the direction of the grain or the direction of the ticking. And you don't have to scrub very hard, just enough to work the H2 Orange 2 into the soil trapped in the ticking. And then once you do that, let the H2 Orange 2 dwell just for a few more minutes. Let it do the work. And then take the microfiber rag or microfiber towel, quarter it, fold it in quarters, and just wipe it across the tile and turn it over so the customer can see it. Now, what the customer is going to see is the soil transferred to the microfiber towel, and the floor gets back to the original color it was when it was installed. It's a very, very impactful demo to do in front of a customer.
So, Jeff, that sounds like a great demo, and I'm sure you've done this hundreds of times. Do you have any, additional tips or anything like that that folks should look out for while they're doing this?
Yeah, I'm really glad you asked that question because this is kind of where the school of hard knocks comes into play. So remember earlier when I was talking about luxury vinyl flooring and how it's designed where it doesn't need floor finish?
Sure,
well,
yeah.
There are situations where people have applied finish to luxury vinyl flooring. Because candidly, they're frustrated with it. They don't know how to maintain it, and they just do what they've always done. So they put finish on it. If the floor has floor finish on it and the ticking was dirty before the floor finish was applied, the dirt is embedded in the floor and it's underneath the finish. So the demo is not going to work the way I just described it. So it's really understanding, up front, just like with any demo, right? What surface are you going to do the demo on? What does that floor have floor finish on it? Has it been sealed? And that would be the one thing just to check to make sure that you're going to have a proper demo. And by the way, not to get off subject, but if the floor did have floor finish applied to it, the flooring manufacturers do have directions that explain how to safely remove the floor finish if the customer wants to do that.
So you show them this demo, it looks great to them. So how do we then explain to the customer how they can do their own deep clean?
Well, that's where those materials I talked about earlier kind of come into place, right? So we've created these simple step-by-step instructions. And, one of the things that, you really started this podcast out talking about is delivering solutions to customers. And,
right.
The step-by-step, Matt, are designed to help your sales professionals do exactly that. And again, we've done this in hundreds and hundreds of floors across the country, and it works. And again, depending on the equipment that the customer has, the instructions, if you will, take that into account and explain how to do it step by step. So it makes it real easy for the cleaning crew to do the complete deep clean to rapidly remove the residue. Okay,
so they did that, remove the residue, it looks great. So then the next logical step for me would be, how do we maintain it? How do we make sure that that cleaning crew then doesn't have to deal with this issue in the future?
Well, so that's the second part of the solution, right? Which is the daily maintenance. So from a daily maintenance standpoint, we would recommend cleaning that floor with the H2 Orange 2 light duty or green solution. And again, as you mentioned earlier, we're a neutral pH product, but this product has been proven to be very, very effective in the daily cleaning of all water-safe floors to include LVT. And we clean without residue buildup. So we're right out of the chute, you know, we're not causing the problem to be replicated. And we also have training materials that talk about how to use proper mopping procedures, quality mopping systems in our product to clean the floor on a daily basis. And again, I mentioned mopping, and I know that we covered it earlier. I know that you indicated that, you know, perhaps we could do something another day, but, you know, take the opportunity to recommend to the customer a higher quality microfiber mopping system. And Triple S carries several high quality options for customers, but the mopping system is important along with the combination of the H2 Orange 2 to properly clean and maintain the floor.
And Jeff, for members that are listening that might want to get more information, where would be the best place they could go to get that info?
So we're going to try to make this as easy as possible. So first of all, you know, we talked a little bit about mopping systems. In the Triple S Inside Sales team are experts at all the products available. It should be the first stop, if you will, to get more information on mopping systems. We're also going to make arrangements to have the materials that I described earlier available through the inside sales team at Triple S. So that would be one place you could go. The other is, hopefully most of the people on the phone listening or on the podcast listening know who their EnvirOx rep is. So the materials are available through them as well, and we look forward to hearing from you. And if you want to call our office, simply call in. Let them know that you listen to the Triple S podcast on LVT. We'll ask for your email address, and we'll send electronically the materials that we've described to help you serve customers and solve these problems.
Thank you, Jeff, for helping us out and being with us today. And thanks for joining us, folks, on another episode of Triple S's Illumination.
Hey, Matt, it's been my pleasure. I enjoyed working with you on this project. Again, we had fun putting together the materials that we hope folks will reach out and get from us. And for our friends at Triple S, anything we can do to help you with a customer, we're here to help. We love rolling up our sleeves, and we really appreciate the relationship. Have a great day, everybody.
All right, so on behalf of both Triple S and EnvirOx, we hope this gave you a better understanding of LVT and how you can use it to achieve your own great results with some of the techniques we talked about today. Until next time, thanks for listening, and you've just been illuminated.